Next is reflective listening, perhaps the core skill of an MI encounter. When you use reflective listening, you show that you understand and accept the parent's attitude, experience, or perspective without judging or criticizing. You also show that you're not going to push them before they are ready. This helps build rapport and encourages the parent to keep exploring and disclosing. Reflections can be thought of as hypothesis testing, with the hypothesis ranging from, what did you just say? Why did you say it? Or what's the meaning behind what you said? Good reflections do more than simply repeat back, word for word, what was said. Instead, you stretch, twist, or tweak what they've said. You can also decide what content areas to reflect on as you guide the discussion. Reflections typically start with phrases such as, I hear you saying, or it sounds like. Reflective listening takes many forms. We'll talk about and demonstrate 6 main types here: content reflections, feeling reflections, rolling with resistance, amplified negative reflections, double-sided reflections, and action reflections. Let's start with a content reflection. In this type of reflection, your goal is generally to communicate that you understand the basic facts of the story. Although you may slightly change the parent's wording, you don't stretch or add as much compared to other forms of reflection that follow. This is sometimes called paraphrasing.
Okay, so by you giving her a choice, you've been able to cut out 1 serving or so from dinner. Mm-hmm. And even her older brother has gotten on board.
Yeah, I'm kind of relieved. It wasn't as difficult as I thought.
Well, I guess his weight.
Mm-hmm.
It would help him become more confident.
Right.
Help him get outside more. Mm-hmm. Help him relax. Because, you know, he is a little high-strung.
Right, right. So you really see some good coming out of Tyler getting more exercise.
A feeling reflection usually contains an emotional word. It may be emotional words used by the parents or words that you infer. A key is not to worry too much about hitting the emotion exactly. People are forgiving if you don't get it right. They'll correct you and move on. Our experience has been that many clinicians shy away from using intense emotional words, even when their patients are expressing intense emotions. Using feeling reflections is an important component of building rapport. Let's watch.
I do try to get down on the floor with him, but I better be near a piece of furniture so I can get back up again, because that's difficult for me.
You sound frustrated or even a little sad that you can't get down and you're not younger like you used to be.
Actually, I do. I think it's kind of bad. Sometimes I think, I feel sorry for the kids because they've got an older mother.
Exactly. And then it makes me feel like, you know, I've let her down, like, you know, I'm lazy or something because I've allowed her to watch so much TV. And, you know I haven't been the best role model in that area. And, you know, it just makes you feel really bad, you know, because you're their mom, you know.
So you're disappointed in your role, and you feel like being more active might be good for both you and Janessa.
What I hear from you is when he's active, you're happy. Like when he's moving
around.
Yes,
when he's moving around.
You feel like you're being a better mom.
Yeah, I do.
Reflective listening is particularly effective in rolling with resistance. Rather than trying to counter-argue the parent's resistance, you pull up alongside and reflect their resistance, in effect, agreeing with it. In terms of pediatric obesity, this may include reflecting back to parents why fast food is so convenient, or why television can provide peace and quiet. Let's watch some examples.
Well, a regular day would be after school. She generally watches a couple of hours of kid shows. Mm-hmm. My shift is 8 to 3. So when I get off work, we're generally home by about the same time. Normally, she will watch TV while I'm going through mail, or I'm cleaning up, or starting dinner.
So actually, her watching TV right now frees you up to do some of what you need to get done in the afternoon.
You see, that's really hard because it's fast, it's cheap, and he loves it. I mean, with our busy schedule, it sometimes just seems easier to run and pick up Burger King most of the time. Plus, when I pick him up from daycare, Michael's usually so hungry that he's really cranky, and I just want to feed him anything as long as it's fast.
So he's really irritable when you get him and you want to get something in him quickly.
Right.
She said no, she didn't want to do it alone. She didn't want to do it with me.
That sounds like a difficult one to get lost.
It's really hard. Like I said, I'm almost to the point where I'm just going to tell her, you're going to do it anyway.
Amplified negative reflections are a variant of rolling with resistance, but they take on a different tone and structure. They're also among the trickiest type to master. This type of reflection is generally used when someone expresses very high levels of resistance. This technique involves, somewhat paradoxically, arguing against change. When you do this can short-circuit a yes-but spiral of entrenchment. By exaggerating the benefits of the risky behavior, the parent can become unstuck, and they often reverse field and begin to argue for change.
Yeah, she doesn't have any siblings, and playing outside is, pretty iffy in our neighborhood. So TV is the cheapest way for me to occupy her without endangering her. So in the bigger scheme of things, it's not all that bad.
So giving up TV seems almost impossible, and you really don't see any other options in the afternoon, and you're not convinced it's doing any harm.
A double-sided reflection captures the parent's ambivalence, as it includes reasons for and against change. This communicates that you acknowledge the struggle the parent is experiencing, and that you're not going to prematurely push them to decide.
I mean, she's a little big for her age. I mean, she's 6, but sometimes people think she's a little bit older. But I don't want her to look too skinny though, because I think people like that look unhealthy. But we do have, a lot of diabetes in our family. So
right. So right now, although you're not too worried, you're really not too worried about her weight. You do want to make sure that the weight doesn't become a health problem in the future.
So it's a convenience for you, but you realize it's not the healthiest thing for Michael or for you and your family.
Action reflections are a key tool during the guiding and choosing phases. They involve moving the person forward by incorporating into the reflection possible solutions to barriers or action steps the patient may take. Unlike unsolicited advice, action reflections use the words or solutions either directly mentioned or alluded to by the parent. It can involve reframing a barrier into a possible action step or listing a possible plan that either the client has directly mentioned or that logically flowed from the discussion. In this way, we consider such reflections distinct from unsolicited advice. The tone of the reflection often undersells the action step or the solution with words like could work or might consider. Here's an example.
We have tried to reduce the amount of television that she watches, but it has not gone so well. I mean, in the morning, I get up, I take a shower, I get dressed, I make some breakfast, and I usually allow her to watch TV so that I can give myself some free time. Now, maybe in the afternoon, it may work better because then I can get her involved in an art or music project.
Okay, so getting her involved in something creative in the afternoon might be an option.
Yes.
I think if she exercises more, I think it's going to happen.
And I think that now that you seem to have found something that might be possible. If you could use the treadmill, you say it's downstairs, it just needs to be put down into a
Right.
usable way.
Into a usable way and plugged in.